Okay, so what do you guys want to talk about today? What do you feel like, where are we at? You guys are the bosses of the team. So, like, what do you feel like you need help with?
I think that last call was really good because like I'm in this like situation right now that between my two kids, they're older, so they're in like heavy baseball, travel baseball, dance season, and work is like ramping up because I do outreach. So I work crazy hours and I don't always get a lunch. And so every year, the last 3 years, I've been like finding that like this is where I'm like, well, I'm too crazy. I can't work my business. And so it's been my focus is like really be intentional about like hitting the vitals. So like if I don't get everything done on my checklist, I have invited every single day. And
That's
so
good.
yeah,
Exciting
it's
and following
really
up, like
it's
number one
been
thing you can do.
yeah, it's been really challenging, but that call was really good because I think that that's what throws me off, right? And so then when you don't have that momentum and you don't get the conversations, like when you wake up to zero messages in your inbox, that's defeating,
Yeah.
So trying to stick with it has been quite the challenge. But so I appreciate that because everyone's season is different, right?
Yeah.
And that's the way your year is going to be. Like I can't imagine everyone's year, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or working mom, that it's always going to be,
Oh, yeah.
time is not a plentiful for anybody, no matter when you are. So
So true. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think that's like the most empowering thing that I've seen with my coaches is giving them a little more freedom to do what works best for them. And it's really cool because then they see that this business really is what they make of it. And it's kind of helped me to see the people who are going to run with it and the people who really weren't taking it seriously. And I don't mean, I hope that doesn't come off in the rude way. I love every one of them equally. Like I do. And I care about their well being all the same. But, and like these guys know, those people in our chats, they know the people who show up and the people who are present and the people who are there, they're the ones that are on the SC board. They're the ones that are recruiting coaches. They're the ones running sneak peeks. They're the ones empowering their coaches to become leaders. And that's what it takes to grow a team. And I think it's when I gave them permission to branch off away from me as much as I don't want them to, like selfishly. I think that was the hardest part is being like, I need you to spread your wings, but don't leave the nest, Like it's hard, but you kind of have to. And as a star diamond coach, you really have to give them that power. You have to say to them, like, you are a leader and you have to take these coaches, go into your downline, find those coaches who have the ability to be incredible leaders and go mentor them. And that might take you away from me. It might take you away from our team a little bit, but it's okay, you know?
yeah, I struggle because I work so much. The threads go like crazy sometimes. And so like
That's what I've heard. My threads are kind of less crazy, but
I feel like some days I can keep up, or some days it's just like I'm walking to my next meeting, so I'm going to like scroll through and I'll be like, ooh, I can answer on that finally. And then like somebody pulls me away. They're like, oh, Lauren, by the way, I have to talk to you about this. And so I kind of struggle because I feel like it looks like I'm totally MIA. It looks like Lauren Lamb is never around except for the random one comment she throws in.
well, does Micah say that to you? Is she like, hey, where are you at? So what are you
No,
worried
it's
about it
me.
for?
It's me.
Yeah,
I
so
feel
why are
like
you worrying about it? This is like not necessary for you to
that.
worry about. As long
I
as
know.
you're doing the things you know you need to be doing, honestly, I think the threads are kind of pointless unless it's relevant to you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
honestly, that Success Club tracker thread, don't even look at it.
It's
Sometimes if I see my name tagged or if like someone asks a question, I don't answer any questions in there.
mhm.
Like total DICK move by me, but I just don't. Because I know there's a million other people who enjoy doing that. I don't.
Yeah.
That's not what fills me up. I want to mentor my coaches and they come to my threads. I think the Success Club tracker system thread has kind of gotten away from the point of it, which was an accountability place. And now it's let's talk about everything in the world place. So it's not really something I care about. If it's like your, like Micah's thread for you that blows up, I would just tell her, just be like, hey, Micah, I don't want you to think I'm not showing up in the thread. I see it all. It's not really relevant to me. When it is relevant to me, I will answer. I'm busy at work. I'm doing my income producing activities. I just want you to know I'm here. I see it all, but I'm not necessarily like involved in it because it's distracting from the things I need to be doing that you're telling me like are the number one things I need to be doing. And she would be like, yes, please, like go do the work. Stop hanging out in the threads. You know, like the people that hang out in the threads, like what are they doing? Go work, go and bike, go talk to your people. There's never
what I was just
to answer, you know.
That's exactly what I was just going to say, because Lauren's definitely, she's one that like gets in her own head about it sometimes. And I do that too, because we both work full time. Yeah. So it's like,
you feel disconnected maybe.
Yeah, you do. But then it's kind of like, if I have 15 minutes, the last place I'm going is the thread. And that's no offense to anybody that's in there. No. And it's just like, at the end of the day, I check the announcements always in the PS page, because if something's important to Micah, that's where it goes.
Amen.
Or like in the thread, she'll say it, and then you'll notice she'll come back in later that night and she'll say it again. Like if it means something, like she makes a point, if she wants us to see something, she tags us.
Yep.
Like there's that extra effort made if it's something super solid. So I don't really... But if it's just like random, and I don't expect people, if I ask a question and they're to jump in and like answer me right away, I ask it, I'm still searching for the answer on my own, but I just am pulling for other ideas. Because when you are like, if I have 15 minutes, I'm sending invites or I'm responding to messages or I'm like, that are income producing things that are not like, show me some love.
I just think give yourself some grace. Don't worry, don't stress, do the things that you need to do to move your business forward and to help your coaches move their business forward. Because now, are you guys in the It Takes Two? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I just keep thinking of that song. It takes two, baby. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, is that the right?
Mine was more like, it takes two to make a thing go right. That's what I was going to bust out.
Yeah. But in Moira's video, I think it was today, I watched it today. I don't know when she recorded it, but she really talks about that, you know, and she talks about, anyway, I don't remember where I was going with that, but listen to that call if you missed it. It was kind of long, I thought, but like 15, 17 minutes, something like that. But it was really good, like really, really good. And she really just said like, oh, this is what I was going to say. She said, you know, a lot of people will be like, no, you have to like worry, you know, you have to focus on your business 90% of the time and mentor 10%. She's like, for me, it was 50-50. Like I had to mentor my coaches 50% of the time. I had to, you know, do my work 50% of the time, grow my team. And I think that's actually a pretty good number, because sometimes our coaches need that guidance. Like they're like, well, what does leadership look like? What, you know, and yes, there's all the YouTube videos, but then it takes that connection completely out of it. So that's what I mean when you're like going to your team, going into the threads and saying, hey, I want you guys to show up in this way. I want you to create this sneak peek. I want you guys to start creating your own content. I want you to, you know, like you have to kind of show them, tell them like, this is what leadership looks like. This is mine. This is another coach's. This is what it looks like. This is what you should be talking about. These are some of the things, like if you feel lost in training in this or whatever. And I'll tell you what, like even Lauren and Jerica, they're like what they're doing now compared to what they were doing even a year ago. I'm like, holy cow, like they have grown so much, and you see that growth in their team now because they've taken that ownership and they're really starting to lead their teams in a way that they weren't before. And it's kind of upping the level of everyone below them. Even some of the coaches like 2 and 3 levels down, you know? So I just think figuring out what works best for you, not worrying about the threads. Like that's another thing I've noticed is coaches feeling like they have to answer other coaches' questions. Like for me, I'm like, that's not my coach. I would love to help them, but I have other things I have to do right now. If it's not answered by the time I am in my working hours, then I'll answer it for them. But I see so many coaches jumping in there and answering questions that I'm like, what are you? You're not actually working the business right now.
I think also, if like, I know for me, like, I specifically will ask Melissa. Like, I know Melissa's not my coach, but I go to her directly. I'll say,
Yes,
Melissa,
and I love that about
like,
you.
Well, well, I'll go to Ashley and be like, Ashley, this is what I see in you. So I just feel like, Lauren, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody's going to come to you directly if they really need you, or your people, even your success partner, whatever. Like, everybody knows and understands like where you're at. But like, if somebody needs you specifically, they're going to message in the thread. And if you don't respond, they're going to message you.
They'll come to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah. And especially for those of you working full-time jobs, like, you don't have any time to waste. Like, there's no time to waste. So don't trip yourself for not being in the thread.
And I'll tell you what, even before Melissa knows, I don't care if you're not a stay-at-home. I mean, if you now work from home,
like crazier. Yeah.
It's even worse. I feel like I was way more intentional.
It's just a hard transition, and you're in the transition right now. I felt like I was legit gonna go insane. Like, I wanted to.
So I feel like when I messaged you, Melissa, like, I was like up to here in water, and now I feel like my eyes are like.
You're like, I got one notch.
I see this. Like, I'm breathing and I'm slowly getting out. But
I know, it's crazy. I know, like Miranda. If you guys know Miranda, I should connect her to you, Shay, because she quit her full-time job and is really struggling, and I know that struggle. I legit cried like every day for like 4 months because
I'm just like, what is wrong with me? You know, like, oh yeah, it's true. So I just feel like whatever season, Lauren, like, people know, you know, where it never gets easier. It changes, but it just, you know.
Yeah. Amen. Leader, just trial and error, honestly. Micah would be like, you need to read John Maxwell, and I'm like, yeah, but he's boring. I don't like John Maxwell as much. Lots of people love him, but I'm always like, this guy. He is amazing. If you read it, don't listen to any of his books. Lots of really, like, I actually really loved what is it called? Not Dare to Lead. His new one. That was the other new one. The Leader Within, something like that. What is it called? Anyone know? Do I need to pull up my book?
Dare to Lead or something. I don't know.
No, that was the Brené Brown one. And that was really it's the new John Maxwell one.
I choose to ask, what drink was he on?
I'm really winning right now.
But we were running the replay.
Really winning right now for you guys. Anyway, look it up. The Leader Within.
Hold on.
I think is it leadership?
Leadership or leadership. Yeah, leadership. I'm gonna mute.
Leadership. Yeah.
I thought you said shit. Leadership. Yeah. That's what it is, and it is really good. So if you need like a good leadership
central matchup between Christian Yelich and the Brewers and how they bias the
I think it all just depends on who speaks to you too. It was actually pretty freeing just now, Melissa, you saying that John Maxwell is boring, because sometimes I'm like, I just can't get into it. Like,
Micah's gonna kill me when she watches this recording.
Well, it's just the Audible.
You kill me, Micah.
It's the Audible. I think it's the Audible one.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah. The Audible or boring. It's just kind of like that un-F yourself book. I started it as Audible, and it was so hard for me. And everyone was saying how amazing it was. And I was like, I can't even understand him. And you know, like they say, you know, I used to be like 1.5. Like, you know, like that's how I listened to my podcast. And I was like,
not him.
Oh my God. I had to like almost slow it down. Like, that's a really bad accent, whatever. But I could not understand him. So I'm like, so once I got the book, I was like, oh,
really
so anyway, that's just.
His new one's really good too. I started listening to it today.
Have you guys listened to, now this speaks to my season of life right now, but The Girl Stop Apologizing?
Oh, I just got chills, straight up chills when you said that. That book.
It is speaking life into me like hardcore. I don't know if you guys have, and I know she's coming to our summit, but I love it way more than Girl Wash Your Face. I think it's so much more relevant to our season and life. I hate that she's getting so much ridicule, like it's stupid. But anyway, I just like, she's speaking life into where I'm at in my season of life. And I think it doesn't matter whether you're stay-at-home mom or working full-time, because she actually is like, there's no way I could ever be home with my kids. Like, and there should be no shame in it. But if you haven't read that book, and I feel like I almost want to do a group read with my team, because I just feel like she speaks to women in general in all areas. And I think
was like raving about it with my Lash girl, and she was like crying about it.
And I think it's a leadership book. Really, I think it's a leadership book, honestly, because it really talks about her building her business.
Yeah.
So
and it empowers you to just not care what anyone else thinks, doing what you're doing to support your family.
Yeah. And yeah. Put your blinders on, do your thing. I don't know. It's really good.
So I know that she's coming to Summit, but I'm going to Rise in Minneapolis.
You're so lucky.
So excited. I'm going by myself.
Ticket. They like sold out in like 10 minutes.
So they go on sale, and I bought mine as soon as it went on sale, thinking someone else on our team is going to be going. Yeah, I'm going by myself. Like nobody, I don't
find another ticket. I'll fly out there and go with you.
I was like, so I'm going by myself, and it's totally fine. So I cannot wait to bring back all the nuggets.
Can you like send me video of you dancing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When she breaks it down, I legit like want to break it down.
So I'm so excited for Summit, but I'm like ready to just immerse in all.
Oh, that's going to be way better than Summit.
Oh, totally.
I'm pumped, but I'm like a little bit scared to go by myself, but I'm like, get out of your comfort zone. Let's go.
No.
Shauna, you're going to have like 15 new friends by the time you leave. You're like like more BFFs than
your friends. You can have like 15 new coaches.
Seriously. Yeah, you are.
So fun. Okay, so anything else? Like, what else do you guys feel like you're struggling with, or want some guidance on, or want to talk about? Anyone? Who's screaming there? Did you fart?
Oh, Julie. We can hear you, yeah?
You can?
Yeah, I can hear you, Julia.
Okay. This has probably been shared so many times, so if you just want to give me the resource afterwards, that's totally fine also, instead of go over it right now. But your best organizational tips for organizing, like I'm at a point where I really need to organize people because I feel lost. Like I just sent out my personal highest number for invites. Like I sent out 70 invites, and I had so many great responses, but not a whole lot of challenge packs sold.
Yeah.
So like I can identify them kind of like they're eventually gonna jump on board. They'll eventually be here. Like, and so I realized right away after those
I write them down.
What do I do with, like, I need a way to organize these people so that I can.
Well, you could use Excel, you could use Teamsy, you could use, like, it just depends on how your brain works, like what your brain processes things with best. Like for me, on a computer, I'm like, I'll never look at that list. Like I don't do my work like that on the computer. So I need something on paper for me. So I use this Rise Up thing. You write down all your people every month that you're talking to. Like this is May only, and you write down those people that are asking for info. I don't write down anyone who I invite. When they say, yeah, I'd like info, their name goes down. When they, after we've talked and they've got, maybe they get a link, I put a star by their name. That way I know they've got a link out. And then I know who I need to follow up with number one first, and then who I need to follow up with is just written down who has expressed interest. That's my method. It seems like elementary school style, but that's what works for me.
I can't do computer either, but someone suggested, which I'm going to try, like, is to have a separate notebook almost for each one too. Like you can have a notebook, just an old spiral notebook that's like prospects and then challengers and then coaches or whatever, like to where you just pull out that notebook and it's just a running list. And then once they join or buy a challenge pack, you just mark them off. So when you go back to follow up, you know not to follow up with them. Because I was having a really hard time with I'm just not a computer. I'm just more of that pen and paper thing. But literally when I went to go organize my desk, I probably had like, I'm not exaggerating, 13 notebooks. Like I'd start like, Summit notebook. And then it was like all the Summit notes. And then and then it was like, I got a new really pretty notebook. And I had all these freaking notebooks and like papers everywhere, people's names all over. And
that's why you just go with the Rise Up. It's ugly. Who cares?
So I got the Rise Up, but it's like I have a really hard time with if I have not filled out page 1, not to go to page 2 yet. And I'm having a really hard time because I cannot think of the 10 challenges that I'm having. Like I feel like I have to have everything filled out before I can get started on it. And I know that's like, I don't know if anybody's like that. Like
there's your 10th thing.
I only got to 6.
Okay. Oh my God. See, this is so freeing.
I only got to 6.
Okay. Like I feel like I have to have every single thing. That's so stupid that I feel that way. But
well, I didn't get to it either. I filled out month 1 and then I didn't.
Okay.
It is really helpful, but yeah.
I went back to my notes.
Like screw this.
I think the point, Julia, is you just got to use a system that's gonna, whatever, everything works. You can keep trying different things, but I like that if you're a pen and paper person, that I think it was Melissa McAllister or somebody that said that's what they do. And they have like a book that's like May 2018, June 2018, and then they will pull that book out and be like, who did I talk to? And they go back. I mean, in the old just dollar spiral notebooks. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but I know some people who do teams and all that. And so,
okay. My other question is on leaders. If I have leaders that are interested in leading, but they totally are more of the hobby. Their lives are busy. And if I give them too much at one time, they become overwhelmed and they just shut down and just clam up and just like go non-existent. And so I've realized there's some people I can't, if I challenge them too much, they retreat. And so I'm trying to find balance for people so I don't lose them, because I know I see the potential in them. I see they can be an incredible coach and have a very successful business, but it's almost like they need those baby steps and need to really focus on themselves right now and slowly work into it. It's kind of like removing, like going in, like someone wants to change their diet and going and removing like everything out of their kitchen and then they fail, versus just slowly teaching them like certain steps. Now I have some that are like ready for the business, like they're financially like, I want the money, like what do I need to do? And those people are really easy to lead because they'll do the work. But there's some that's just like, I would love to tell my friends and I want to help people. I want to do what you do. It looks fun, but you give them too much and they.
So I think what I'm hearing is there's different whys that you're looking at right now. Like one is driven financially. That's their purpose. That's their driving force. And maybe the others aren't. Like their purpose is the fun, the community. Like that looks like fun. So I think those are two different forces. Like I think a financial why is a lot more powerful and a stronger driving force than that looks like a lot of fun. And then when it's not fun, they're like, never mind, like that, like you would do work. I just want to have fun. I just want to hang out with the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
what I would say is go and talk to them, figure out really what their purpose for coaching is, like what is driving them. If it's the physical transformation, that's totally fine, because then, as they share that, if they're willing to share it, I think organically that would bring people to them, at least for sure warm market, if they're not doing all the connections and stuff. But I think it really comes down to just figuring out their why. Like that's what keeps people working, when they cast that vision and they see it every day. Give them small challenges instead of saying, let's go all in. We trick them into working without them really knowing it. Yeah, that's so good. How do we do our little, like in your thread, Jerica was saying, can you see her message to you, Julia? She said, give something simple for them to do that's going to pay off in the long run. Like in your thread when you do those little daily challenges.
Julia, like we were like, what's today, like send 10 invites and go show 3 slides in your stories of your challenge group or talk about a challenger. Like, I can do that. I can totally do that.
Like tell them exactly what to do instead of them wonder, like, what should I be doing?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Yes.
Because they can, instead of saying, I need to go send all these invites and talk to all these people, if you say, okay, go talk to 10 people today. 10 conversations. Show up in your stories and show what your challenge group looks like, or talk about a challenger, something like that. It still gives people an idea of what you're doing without kind of telling somebody, you've got to go invite somebody to your challenge group right now. Talk to them about your challenge group. Share it in your stories. It's a lot easier for people to do instead of one-on-one.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we boogie? You guys are awesome, though. It's kind of fun to get to hang out with you guys because I don't get to see as much as my team.
I know, I rarely get to get on these, and it's so good when I do. Although you guys all look really good. Like I have like a conditioner in my hair and what? I know. I was on the first one. I was on the coach one. And then I had to jump off and do dinner. And then, so anyway. I can't, you're still going. I was going to say, I bet you're exhausted mentally. 2 hours of mentorship calls.
I'm going to eat like 2 artichokes tonight.
Ooh,
artichoke.
You go crazy.
Stop the recording. But someone told me they've never had an artichoke before. You all had an artichoke? Yeah, it was Jericho. She's like, what is that?
Okay, so how do you eat your artichoke? Because I grew up dipping it in mayonnaise.
Yeah, so I did too, but now I dip it in lemon or just honestly like it plain.
Really?
I know, is that weird?
I know some people do butter, so I've never even tried it because I'm like, I'm not gonna do mayonnaise.
It's probably fine.
But you do just lemon, like lemon juice?
Yeah, lemon juice or mustard.
How do you cook it?
In the Instant Pot. 30 minutes on pressure cook.
Spiky thing in the Instant Pot.
With some water in the bottom, yeah. Or you can steam it like on the stove.
How many minutes in the Instant Pot?
30.
Oh, wow.
Okay, or is this not recorded?
Yeah, it is.
It's being recorded?
Yep. So if anyone wants to know how to make an artichoke.
I was just wondering.
Hey, Melissa,
no,
I'm so excited about your house. That's so awesome. I love watching your stories. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Fun. We're excited.
Yes. Thank you, Melissa, for your time tonight, too.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys got on, so it was worth it. I always am like, oh, they're going to see it soon and they'll show up. Not like, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I say that, but I'm not kidding.
You better be kidding.
You're crazy.
You are crazy.
I pray. Hey, well, if you guys need anything, you know, we're always here for you.
There was some kind of a visual that we
Love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Yeah.
The only chance he had was